Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first unofficial community Hyper Dragon Ball Z podcast. I'm your host, Walruslui, and here are my fellow co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Ethan the Human, and I kind of work on Hyper Dragon Ball Z. I'm doing color separation for Frieza right now.
Hex Productions here. I'm an active member of the Discord, and I'm doing special projects for it.
SkyClaw X. I also actively go in the Discord. And I mainly just play the game and try to find stuff competitively for it.
Hi, I'm Walruslui. I am also another Discord member. I don't really do much. I do give feedback a lot in regard to sprites that when people want to do fan-made stuff about it. But other than that, I am working on something called Teen Gohan Z2I, which is Teen Gohan but with Z2 gameplay. I'm not the coder for that character, but I do provide lots of feedback to make it better.
Okay, Ethan, could you please begin by reading off some of the changes to the newly released champ build?
Oh yeah, so today we're talking about the champ build that happened recently. I'm going through the changelog right now. Does anybody want to give context to the champ build?
I was gonna elaborate on that. So for those who are new to this, Hyper Dragon Ball Z is a fan-made 2D fighting game inspired by Capcom's classic fighting games such as Street Fighter Alpha, Marvel vs. Capcom, and more. It is built on the freeware Mugen engine and is completely free and will always be free. We've had several builds throughout the years that include several characters and with more added through time, and the latest build is the chat build. There have been a lot of changes over the years, and today we are going to be reading all about that.
Just giving context to what's been added, what's been taken away, and newly added characters.
Yeah, so let's see here. Going through the official changelog, they updated the Arctic stage, I guess. They removed V-Select, by the way. V-Select, that's a thing.
I could never get V-Select
anyway. In general, was a program that allowed you to move the characters with visual aspects. So you can actually drag around the character selection screen as you can do that in Mugen. You can actually add more characters and remove them, but with V-Select, you can do it in an easier way and just save it. But they removed that as really it was pretty much useless.
It's pretty much useless, except for people who want to add the boss characters. I mean, holla holla, you know?
You cheap mother! I'm kidding now.
And that's why boss Frieza's AI only.
Exactly. Saiyan, Goku, and Vegeta have been removed for this build, but we got a new boss, Golden Frieza, who's a SNK style boss who teleports on hit 6. Anybody want to elaborate how his boss fight goes in the arcade?
It's bullshit. They'll just teleport out of your combos, basically break the game, you know. Not that I ever got to Golden Frieza, thanks to Cyberman.
Essentially, Frieza, his golden form combines both his base state and his emotional mode, which is a powered up mode for all characters that activates different buffs and attributes that help him throughout the battle. With Golden Frieza, he doesn't need to do that. It's already in his base form without meter burn. So what that allows for him to have extremely cheap combos while not sacrificing the bar. He also has more health, more defense, and can break out of your combos mid-combo.
He also just looks like yellow Frieza.
Exactly.
Which is why Ethan for any character to as he is going to color separate him.
Yeah.
Color separation is basically separating different parts of the body to be recolored to whatever color you want, therefore allowing the Golden Frieza form.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, if I do pull through with this, you can expect Golden Frieza to look a lot more like a shiny golden god and not a lemon real soon.
Shiny golden god.
Yeah, that's
because we all know that Ethan is busy in the slave race. He is the latest slave in the Z2 Developer 9.
Yeah.
No, not really, but he is hard at work at separating, as it is not easy. It takes a lot of hours, a lot of days just to color separate Frieza, as he has a lot of detail.
And Frieza's just one color.
Exactly. But speaking on the topic of characters, who's the newest added character to the champ build, everyone?
Piccolo.
Pilaf.
The Great
No,
Satan
it's
Sama.
it's Piccolo and Mr. Satan.
I thought Satan was
So-
just bug fixes.
No, he's a completely new character now.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
in the
I didn't
old
know
build?
that. So apparently, in the new build, Mr. Satan is actually a completely new character. In the older builds, you see, Mr. Satan was a joke character who would always avoid your combos and did about 5 damage per punch.
And in the game where everybody has 1,000 health, you can understand how little damage he did. Now Satan is an actual contender for a player. But let's start speaking on Piccolo first. How do y'all feel about him?
I think Satan will.
Piccolo-
first.
Mhm. Piccolo is a hard character to master, as he's very, very different from most of the rest of the cast. He's a lot slower and focuses on bringing your opponent back in with his range.
He's the main character who gets a lot from his alpha counter, which is 2 punches forward when you're getting attacked on your guard. He can get a full combo from that, which is the only character in the game who can do so, which is a unique thing to him.
Yeah, I can't really speak much in terms of gameplay. I'm sure SkyClaw, the competitive guy, can explain that better. But he has a lot of moves inspired from like Dragon Ball all the way through Z, and very great fan servicey, I should say.
Yeah, Piccolo's definitely
Fun fact,
pretty nice.
iPod is the one who voiced Piccolo.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Fun fact, Dipod, the renowned sprite artist and very, very, very good friend of the Hyper Dragon Ball Z developers, is the voice of Piccolo.
Oh yeah, he did Blue Streak too, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
he is the one who created Blue Streak and is working on his own full game, White Noise. Or White Eyes, not White Noise. White Eyes.
Plug.
White Noise is my favorite Sheamus move.
On the topic of competitive skills, could each of you state how good at the game you are or where in the competitive community you think you lie?
I am
I guess
very
I'll go
much
first.
a medium to average player. I do know about Gohan's loops. I do know about Goku's Tatsu loops that he had before, but I'm mostly proficient with Vegeta as I'm very good with zoning characters.
Yeah. I would say I'm pretty bottom tier. Like I'm at the bottom of the barrel in terms of players. I just really like the game, but I'm not good at fighting games. That's my thing. It's not that I couldn't get into them. I just don't know where to start, you know?
I think I'm pretty good. I play a lot of fighting games competitively. Like Street Fighter 4, 5, Super Smash Brothers Melee, KOF 14, 13. I played Budokai 3 pretty competitively. So anyway, in this game,
SkyClaw, you must not mention Melee. Competitive Melee breaks me.
wait, why can't I mention Melee?
Competitive Melee is fucking crazy. Jesus.
I
Goddamn,
love
dude. Oh, God.
love competitive Melee. So anyway, bringing a lot of those like skills and attributes and like mindsets over to this game, and being a longtime DBZ fan, I delved into this a lot, and I'd say I'm definitely pretty good. My combos aren't quite as like long and flashy as some other members like NTSC CRP, I think his name is, and like AP Sandslash. But overall, like actually playing the game, I think I'm definitely pretty good.
Okay. Well, on the topic of Piccolo, we talked about him, but what most people didn't really expect, Satan was updated to be a completely new and legit character, and I think he's kind of busted with that loop of his. But what do you guys think about Mr. Satan and his new
He is.
update?
He's top tier. Shit.
He has an overhead projectile, meaning you can't block it crouching, which is a crazy thing in a fighting game.
I think he's really fun. I don't know if I agree that he's top tier, but I definitely think he's really, really fun.
Well, I'd say he's. I fought Rodney, who's like one of the devs working on the Eichmann version, and ow, that's pretty painful.
For those who need context, the Eichmann version is the online version of Hyper Dragon Ball Z, which uses, I think, like, Evolve and Hamachi to connect. So it port forwards.
On the topic of that, to play the Eichmann version, you have to join the HDBZ Discord. Links to that will be in the description of the YouTube video, so you can find it there.
Yeah, Discord's like kind of a big community with Hyper Dragon Ball Z. You talk to the devs there and whatnot, and it's pretty great.
Quick sidetrack. What devs can we commonly see and talk to in this Discord?
Just no point.
Yeah, there's just no point. He's a big coder guy. He's coding most of the characters actually. He's really great.
He's the one who did Piccolo. He's doing Gotenks, and he finished off Gohan and the rest of the characters before the build was out.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, our beloved Barker and Django.
Yeah, Barker is the spider for Super Boo, and this may be a little secret, but he might do something after Super Boo as well, probably.
As far as coders go, X Gargoyle does Vegeta, Majin, and Frieza, right?
Yes, he's the one who did
Yes.
Frieza, Majin Vegeta, and Vegeta.
You can also speak about characters and how they were developed. We commonly ask the creators questions and what do they like.
And Django was the one who coded Mr. Satan.
I think we're forgetting about so many guys. Iced, the big honcho.
Oh, right.
Class.
Yeah, F class.
So Iced is essentially the big brains of the Hyper Dragon Ball Z. Aside from Balthazar, who's the creator, he's the big force behind most of them, as he comes up with most of the move ideas for certain characters.
Yeah, he's the design machine, I guess is the best way to call it. I think he calls himself a writer, which is true if you think about it.
Yeah, I think his title was idea engineer.
Yes, exactly. It's
Yeah,
that. He's the one who pretty much made sure each character stayed true for themselves and had a lot of personality instead of them just being boring characters who yell a lot. And F-Class is a developer for the online version, porting the entire game to another engine so it can work online. Him and Rodney are the online version developers.
Him and Rodney are doing a good job on that. Right now, they have a test build of the online version of the champ build, which we're talking about now, and that's in the Discord, which you guys can check out.
Awesome. What's next?
All right, so I'm kind of going ragtag through this list of changes here. There's, I should probably check out the individual character files, but they completely redid and replaced the move list files. That's actually, I think I can talk the most about that. That is really super cool. I love the I love the move lists in this game. They're great. But the new revamped ones are really cool. It's kind of got like a user interface going on, which you don't really see that much in just like an HTML file. So that's really something to talk about.
Remember, people, look at the move lists. If you want to get good at the game, practice and look at the move lists. They can really help you out. They give good
And
intricate
join
details about
Discord.
how each character works and about their gameplay systems.
Yeah, like it's crazy. A lot of people just ask, how do I charge my key in this game? And all kinds of crazy stuff. It's in the move list, you know? That's what you should check like 85% of the time if you don't know how to play this game.
Speaking on the topic of asking questions for the game, how does the community in the Discord act towards people asking questions or new players?
Oh, the
Dude,
Discord's great. Just No Point and the other developers are always very welcoming about questions and concerns towards new players. Every one of your concerns and comments will be answered in some way or form. They might not be answered with the answer you're looking for, such as, is Broly going to be in the game? No. Well, for now, no.
Yo, Walrus
That's
hates
something like that.
Broly.
Oh boy, I have a lot of opinions on him, but that is what not the podcast is about. But
Maybe
I
a
can
pos-
assure you that developers are very, very, very open about questions, comments, and concerns.
And if you want to learn combos or play styles, then just ask in one of the channels, and either me, Sam Slash, or any of the other competitive players like SkyClaw may come to you and tell you how to play a game.
Yeah.
Some frequently asked questions for the game are, will the game be finished? No. There is no set finish date for the game. Developers literally just do it because they want to. It's going to be updated over time. When they stop updating, that's going to be the final build of the game. And I don't see that happening for a long time. Another one is, will X character be there, or X character whatever? They have a couple of work in progresses right now, which include Android 18, Krillin, TN, um, Super Boo, Gotenks. Those are the characters currently in progress right now. Any other character that you're requesting, they're probably not working on it until those five are out of the way. Another one is, will the game ever be paid for? No, it will never be paid for, nor can it be, as it is a licensed property and the developers don't have the actual license to work on them. So therefore, if you want to donate to the game, you can't donate to the game itself. You have to donate to the developers and the artists if you want to support them. Another one, will the game be available on consoles? No, it won't. End of question.
Yes, Ethan, what next?
Okay, so going through the change log, one thing that I think has not been talked about enough is they updated the AI to 1.0, so you can change the AI of the characters in the options menu now, which is pretty great.
God damn Vegeta! No, not really. Yeah, the AI can be really tough, but that's a good thing for most players, as the main audience who do play this are looking for a neat challenge. But if you want, you can turn it down in the options menu. Before, you couldn't do that, so it's a very nice change and very, very, very useful.
That being said, not all of the characters' AI is fully coded. Like Piccolo and who's the other one?
Mr. Satan.
That's right. That's right.
And they don't do shit, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, if they don't have AI, they're pretty shit. You can beat them pretty easy. One thing, though, the Cybermen, they're pretty much hard all the time.
That's the new player cutoff ground.
That being said, there's a pretty easy way to take care of the Cybermen. You can just crouch block in the corner, and then every time they pop up, light, medium, heavy punch them, and they're pretty easy.
Expect our next podcast to be more targeted to new players, but on the topic of this one, another thing they updated was the presentation of it. So the options menu looks a lot better. Do y'all agree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
And the sounds?
from a sprite. Because if you don't know, I do pixel art, and I'm a sprite artist who does commissions. And from a pixel art perspective, it's great. A lot of it's very organized. The aliasing is great. The dithering is great. Just everything looks like fantastic. It really reminds me of all the detail that Capcom put in their games in the 90s when they didn't need to.
Yeah, they're old games.
On the topic, two of us in here are mainly players. The other two are spriters, color separators, stuff like that. So, question to the spriters and color separators: how do y'all feel about the presentation of the animation for Piccolo, the newest character?
Piccolo?
I think Piccolo is probably one of Balthazar's best to date, his work in general, and that includes his professional work. Piccolo is very consistent, very well animated. There's a lot of detail, and is overall probably one of the best examples of fan-made characters I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Piccolo, he's crazy. The thing with Balthazar is he put out one of the best looking Mugen characters in general when he made Goku. And every character he's made since that looks better than the last one, to the point where Goku now just looks like he doesn't look like trash, but he can't even compare it to how good Piccolo is. Piccolo is so beautiful, and he's got that nice smooth animation, right? Like when you see his arm stretch, you're like, damn, that's so satisfying. Like I'm a stickler for like really satisfying animations, and Piccolo just is way up there in terms of just like nice snappy animation.
With that being said, it is a very good reason why you should think about supporting the artists who do this. They spent a lot of hours, sometimes years, to create a single character, and they're doing it for free. They're putting all this detail and love in these characters for free. So if you do want to support them, we will put their Patreons in the description.
Yes, so you can find all the resources we state in the video in the description below. SkyClaw, now that we're now on the topic of sprites, how do you feel about playstyle?
How do I feel about playstyle?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first quick on the sprites. The sprites are beautiful, as already said. Pretty much some of the best sprite work I've seen from a fan-made game. As far as playstyles go, I don't think you can really ask for more in terms of a Dragon Ball Z game. Many people have described it as the Dragon Ball Z arcade game they always wanted. All the characters feel like they play like how they should. They're representative of their personalities from the series. And they also have really nice homages to other fighting games.
I like Satan's Raging Demon.
Yes, I was just talking to JNP about this, a few other people actually too. There's a ton of Akuma references throughout all of the characters. Like Piccolo has like the not the Raging Demon, but you know how like after Akuma kills with a Raging Demon, how he stands afterward? Like Piccolo has that.
Yeah, with the kanji.
He's quite literally a raging demon at the end of his finisher.
Yeah.
He's quite literally. He even goes to 666.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. But playstyle in general, my favorite character is Vegeta. Vegeta and Majin Vegeta are really fun. Goku, I think, is the easiest character to pick up and play. But then some of his deeper combos are a little bit harder. As everybody knows, Babidi is kind of wonky.
Yeah. But Babidi is planned to get a rework, everybody. So take what he is now with a grain of salt. But yeah.
In fact, the people who voiced Babidi and Vegeta are Shock Dingo for Babidi. He also voiced Frieza and does the announcing lines.
So everybody's opinion on the voice acting. I'm actually a pretty big fan of it in, like, I'd say 90% of the cases.
And for Vegeta is actually voiced by renowned animator Rice Pirate.
Rice Pirate.
Rice
Love
Pirate.
the guy, hate the guy.
I love it. I love the guy's work. He's great.
I haven't seen much of Rice Pirate, but like one of my favorite animations is his Wolverine has a cold one, where he's like sitting in a plane and he sneezes. Anyway, voice acting for me, it's great because it just adds like more originality to the game. You can't really get quotes from like the Budokai games of Vegeta saying like "fuck your shit," but there are yeah, fuck your shit. But I would say that when I first heard some of the voices, like frigging Vegeta and Super Buu, at first I was like, that's okay. But the more I listen to it, the more I like it. It's really weird, especially Piccolo as well. I thought Piccolo sounded a little weird at first, but now he's like my favorite Piccolo voice.
I think I can speak on this topic. The voices have added to the originality and the feel of the game. We have access to the other dubs in Hyper DBZ. The sound packs of the original voice actors for Hyper DBZ just feels good. Do y'all agree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
I do take voice acting lessons, so I can say from a good standpoint, for a free game, these guys put a lot of soul and passion into each and every one of their performances. And I might be doing something in the future. I might not be. We will leave that for another day.
Eyebrow
But
wiggle.
I can say for a certainty that every character is very faithfully represented. Even if you don't like custom voice acting, even if you didn't grow up with a lot of the voice actors, they're great. And just give them a shot. Give them a shot. You really should. Just give them a listen. But when in doubt, there are Funimation voices. So if you want to hear more of Chris Sabat as Vegeta and Piccolo, there are options to turn those voices back on if you want to live your nostalgia days,
Yeah.
We are using
Just
clips
option.
from Raging Blast and Xenoverse for those, so you can ensure good quality. At least from me, as I am working on those voices personally. There are also the Japanese voices for you all to listen to, just in case you want to listen to Japanese ones. I personally prefer the custom ones. But the other two aren't bad at all. They're not just haphazardly there. They are placed in correct spots with correct actions.
And like that's for each character too, by the way. Like it's not one universal English, Japanese custom. Every character you can like set to have the specific voice you want, which at least for me is pretty good because I know people complain about Masako Nozawa's Goku a lot, but I think that's my favorite Goku, so I might just switch to that while all the other characters are like English.
Um, so for some context, Goku actually does not have a custom voice. He is still Sean Semmel for the English voice. So if you want to hear that guy all the time, you can hear him just fine. I don't think Balthazar really. I think Balthazar said that Goku doesn't really need a custom voice. He's kind of iconic at this point. So there's that.
Yeah.
And he has so many different interpretations from Sean based on his voice. There's not really a need for it.
For the longest time, I thought Goku's voice might be custom because I thought he said foot time when he does his Tatsu. I thought he said foot time, but I found that he doesn't.
Those clips
Wait,
are
what
from
does he say?
those clips are from Burst Limit. He says bonsai.
Oh shit, didn't know that.
I thought it was foot thing.
Now that I think of it, he kind of sounds like Doctor Doom's foot dive.
We need a foot dive character in Hyper Dragon Ball Z, guys.
Yes. But on to a new topic. Hyper DBZ's champ build release has gotten a lot of attention. So from
Oh boy,
Oh boy.
from
there
competitive
is
players,
so much. Even the renowned Maximilian dude streamed it himself and is a big fan of the game. So is Justin Wong. So is a lot of other not as well known fighting game players, but they do know about it. There have been different side tourneys for Hyper Dragon Ball Z that have been very, very appreciative and welcomed.
shout out to Orlando Fight Nights for having the first champ build tournament, and the winner of that tournament was Hercule and Argon Rost.
But he's not top tier or anything.
Hey man, I don't think he is.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Speaking of attention, I think we should kind of talk about the elephant in the room. Why the video's not on YouTube anymore. That got taken down.
But don't panic. It is not because of Toei trying to meddle in their game and do a search and destroy and just take down the channel and the game itself. No. It was possibly and very, very, very likely it was auto banned by a bot. As for the thumbnail, they used a picture of Mr. Satan from the anime. And Toei is very well known to be very picky about what's shown on YouTube, especially when it comes to the anime. Since they use the anime like thumbnail, it's very likely that a bot put it down, not an actual Toei representative, as they've tried to get answers over and over again, but nobody really knew. So we're just assuming it's a bot because nothing else came out of it.
Yeah, but you can still watch the trailer on Balthazar's Facebook. Link in the description below.
Yeah, what a trailer. Like, I saw that. I'm not even sure where I was, but I got home. I like raced home just to watch that shit. And
Such a presentation.
yeah, like these trailers are getting better. Everything about the game's just getting better and better. I was so like hype and excited when they showed the new characters, 18 and Krillin. Like I didn't see that coming at all.
I did. I guessed it
It's just
correctly.
crazy.
Aha! I'm better than all of you.
Speaking of, how good is TN Sprite? TN Sprite is godly.
I think TN is Balthazar's best work
Really
so
is.
far.
I like literally gasped when I saw his like standing sprite. I was like, "What? This is impossible."
But we
I
have
think
to
the
also
default
hand
palette
the
adds
other
a lot to
spiders
it,
as
too.
well. You know, Barker
Repeat,
has a
please,
great
Wallace.
Super Boo. It looks
Yeah,
great.
that was his first
And
sprite,
Super
wasn't
Boo-
it? Isn't Super Boo
Yeah,
his
that's
first
his
like
first
sprite work?
project. Yeah, that's his first project. And we also have to hand it to Darren as well. Like, so the spiders
Yeah.
for the game officially are Balthazar, who does majority of the characters, who did Goku, Majin Vegeta, and he reshaded Frieza of Shamat's old Frieza. So he was a part of the team like for a little bit, and then Balthazar took over his spriting. Now we have Balthazar. Now we have Barker. Barker is the one who does Super Boo. and that's his first project. And that being his first project, it's amazing how it looks so far. Then we also have Darren. Darren is currently doing Gotenks and Krillin, and did Bobbity. And the last one, but not least at all, is Nicotine Fist. Nicotine Fist, or Nico 18, is the latest person to join the team so far officially, and he's been secretly working on Android 18 until reveal trailer. He kept it under wraps for about a year and a half, and his work right now looks amazing. I would have never noticed it was fan made if I saw it just on Google.
On the note of Darren, if I'm correct, he sprited every stage in the game except Saiyan Pride, I believe, as well.
He did most of them, and he's also working with HQ on creating stages as well. HQ created the Korin Tower stage and the Tenkaichi Budokai stage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Also the Baba's like crystal ball kind of room. I'm pretty sure that was also done by HQ. I might be wrong though.
Also, Balthazar also did the assist characters for Bobbity. So he did Dabura and he did I think Darren did Yakan, but I'm not sure.
Speaking of Yakan, that's a big change from the old Majin build to this build. Yakan Super used to just turn the screen all black, and I don't know, it was just really bad in general. And then now in this game, there's a full Yakan sprite, and the Super is also way better.
Yeah.
Before, the Yakan sprite just did about, I think, a slash or two. Now this one does, I think, 4 slashes. It's great for juggle potential.
Yeah, and it just looks so good as well. One thing I really want to talk about in this podcast is, because it's really near and dear to my heart, the Gohan costume. So I think I can speak about that a bit. A while ago, Chamat, the guy who kind of did quite a bit of work on Frieza, he was like, "Yo, I did the sprite sheet. I did Gohan's alternate costume. He removed the undershirt, basically, and it looks great." I gasped when I saw it. No, I didn't. I was really excited when I saw it. Yeah, just the muscles. It's supposed to take you back to the blue costume that Gohan wore at the beginning of the Buu saga. And I was really excited to see it, but nobody did anything with it. And so eventually he just said again, "Yo, guys, somebody better do this." And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I implemented those sprites. I had to color separate it again, basically, as well. But me and Chamat worked together, and we finished that, and it was great. And I'm so happy that it got implemented into the game itself. Like, that it gives me butterflies in my stomach, I guess you could say, that something I did is like basically my favorite game.
For those who are wondering, Gohan's alternate costume is not a separate character. I mean, it is technically, but he shares the exact same moveset as regular Gohan. So don't get him mixed up. He is not different in any way aside from the costumes.
Yeah, he's not going to pull out a Raging Demon or something. Like, it's just Gohan, but I personally use him exclusively pretty much now because, well, for personal reasons, obviously.
Yeah, I took the old Gohan just out of the game completely and put the alternate outfit Gohan on the main select screen.
That's so sweet of you.
I'm keeping that Gohan because when Buu comes out, I want to recreate that Gohan versus Buu fight.
Not to mention Dragon Ball Super coming out, making Orange Suit Gohan relevant again. Okay, so looking at this change log here, there's lots of changes for the characters specifically. I can get into that if you guys want to, but looking for just the updates in general, they removed Saiyan Goku and then Vegeta. They added stages. 6 to be exact. 2 Kami's Lookout stages, the World Tournament stage, 2 Korin's Tower stages, and Seer's Alcove.
You can really see the work they put into these new stages.
Yeah, some great stages.
Not to mention, the entire soundtrack also received a change.
It did? Oh, wow. I'm gonna have
The
to look
stages
for
for
that.
the music for the stages are changed.
Wizzy Whippet Wonderful, the soundtrack guy for Hyper Dragon Ball Z. He's just great.
Oh, what a great guy.
Yeah, I got to give a personal shout out to that guy. He's working hard and creating a lot of CPS2, which means Capcom PlayStation 2, which basically is the music style they used for Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha, all that stuff. He's hard at work making CPS2 style songs for years, and his music is probably one of the most important aspects of the entire game. It really brings it all together, gives it a lot of flavor and energy, and we really have to give him a round of applause for doing all that for free.
I just love
And
the
his
guy. He
music
helped
really
out
needs
this
to be
game
more
so much.
known. It really does.
He helps out a lot of games like this, like Darkstalkers versus Street Fighter and stuff. I don't know how the guy does it. It's just incredible. On the stages, by the way, what would you guys say is your favorite of the new stages? Mine personally, the Corins Tower Night stage, because
Yes.
Yeah, Nekomajin.
I love Nekomajin, and I'm really happy to see him in
Nekomajin!
the game in some way, of shape, or form.
Tournament stage, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I'd say
tournament
my
stage.
favorite is probably the tournament stage, but second favorite would also probably be the Nekomajin stage. The music on that stage is really good, and just like all the homies just watching the fight is just great.
I just want Nekomajin. That's my favorite stage for most of Mugen. That's pretty much my favorite stage. I just really like Nekomajin. That's why.
I'm in the same boat as you, Walruslui. Okay, so moving
for
on.
those who don't know, Nekomajin is a character from one of Toriyama's other comics, a gag manga. He's great. Just read it. Look it up.
Yeah, read Nekomajin. He's the reason that Vegeta says in Dragon Ball Super, "I'm not fighting a GOG manga character again," because that's referring to the Vegeta Nekomajin fight, which is, I would say, the best fight in all of Dragon Ball.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, Ethan. Anything else?
Well, I think we went through quite a bit. There were some screen pack changes. Now that I think of it, they changed quite a few fonts. They're constantly updating like the UI for this game, and it just keeps getting better. Not that the previous versions are bad in any way. I love the new fonts. And then it goes into the individual character devlog section, but I think we can save that for another time. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. So we could just spend about 5 more minutes speaking on the online building, how the Discord is handling it.
Okay, so
Before we move on, you guys want to talk about because I think one thing that goes under talked about is how much work Iced does put into like intros and endings and all like the special win poses and stuff like that.
Oh man, that's
Um,
great. Oh, I can't even talk enough about that from a spreaders and animators perspective. Whew. Basically, each and every one of the characters has something called what they call an intro, contest intro, which basically introduces an aspect by the community for each of the characters, such as Vegeta has a chance of stomping a Goomba, spreaded by somebody else, or Goku in Super Saiyan has the chance of flying away, chasing Supersonic all of a sudden when somebody else spreaded that. It's really great seeing all these special intros and outros, as it gives the characters a lot more love than most characters do in Mugen, especially with the fact that it's very community based. So there's about a lot, like potentially, I think a few dozen sprites that are for the community for each character alone, and it's crazy to see just how much work the community puts into these special intros. One of my favorites by far has to be Frieza's transformation. Usually we don't
Great.
care about the second form or third form or anything like that because they just skip the final form. But seeing it all in one go is amazing.
dude,
You kinda cut out there.
Oh, my
So
favorite
many sprites.
animation by far has to be the Frieza animation, his intro, where he transforms from first form all the way to final form in one go. Usually you never see that. I've always been curious to see what that would look like.
Yeah. As the guy who's color separating for Golden Frieza, that has so much work put into it. Like that intro alone probably takes up like half the sprite sheet, like a couple dozen sprites. It's crazy. So much detail. As for the contest intros, right now there's currently those contest sprite collaboration things going on for Super Boo right now. So if you are a spriter and you want to contribute towards a game, you can go onto the forums, link in the description, and you can maybe try and see if you can add a sprite of yours to the game by spriting an alternate absorption for Super Boo when he fights the opponent that he's about to absorb.
What about anybody's favorite endings? My favorite ending, well, my two favorite endings are probably a tie between Gohan's Facebook update and Mr. Satan Saving the World newscast.
Yeah, those are pretty good. My longtime favorite has been Goku teleporting into King Kai's car and just jamming out to keep rolling with his sunglasses on. That's
Mine has to be Super Saiyan Goku's special wind pose, where all like a bunch of guest characters come by and he chases after them.
Yeah. Another one of my favorites, I would say Gohan with Icarus. It's so cool seeing that
Dude, that's
fully
sick.
evolved Icarus, that's pretty great.
Speaking of the Super Saiyan Goku one, dude, to this day I still see like characters that I haven't seen yet in that ending. Like I'm always seeing like a new character in that win pose.
Oh yeah. Actually, I do remember now. My other favorite win pose is Golden Frieza's, regular Frieza's golden win pose, right? So I think you have to get a perfect and finish with a super move. But if you do, he goes golden, and it's just great. I managed to pull that off once.
I think my favorite Frieza win pose is when he says like, "Have you ever heard millions of screams silenced by a burning atmosphere?"
Yeah, pretty savage. It's crazy. I wonder what his line in the Funimation dub sounds like for that. I'm gonna go check that out after this.
What? Whoa. Okay, wait, no, that's off topic. I won't talk about that right now.
Okay, so do you guys have anything more to add?
No, that's about it. Right now, this podcast isn't meant for explaining all the intricate details about the characters and detail stuff. Right now, we're just doing an overview of the game itself and what's different from the last build. So I think we're off on a good start. I'm definitely looking forward to more podcasts as I do have a very good microphone that I'm not using right now. But next podcast, I for surely will.
All right, Hex, you want to talk about the podcast a little bit before we head off?
Hey guys, I'm pretty much the main organizer of the podcast. I came up with the idea, I set up the schedule, and I got together with these three amazing guys to do such a great podcast. It's my first time doing anything voice based, and I'm kind of nervous for it, but I'm really happy I can share my thoughts on this amazing game and community. Our podcast is gonna be based around pretty much what the community wants. But our next podcast is we're going to start breaking out characters, what we think about their animations, gameplay, sprite. You can submit in the Discord. We have a podcast Discord. You can submit questions you have for the next podcast. Walrus, do you want to close this podcast out, or is there anything else y'all want to say?
Unless you guys have something to say.
I object. I just want to reiterate for one last time that this isn't like an official podcast. This is a community one, but it's great that people listen to this, I suppose. And if you have any suggestions for improvements to the podcast itself, please leave that in the comments or PM us on Discord or wherever you find us, because I want this to just get better as time goes on, just like the game. So I'm really open to suggestions for this.
Also, none of us are at this time of voicing. None of us is official except for maybe Ethan when he finishes Frieza. So if you have any questions for the developers ask them in Discord until I guess
Yeah.
Ethan becomes the dev. He's not one officially right now.
Uh,
So if you have a question for the actual characters and also like what they plan to do and stuff like that, we can answer that in a general sense. But if you want specific details, you're gonna have to ask developers in the Discord.
This is just a podcast for the people by people just like you. You can possibly audition for it and join the next one if you ask.
It's
but
the
that's up
podcast for the
local
people,
judgment.
for the game, for the fans.
And the
By
Discord in
fans.
general, actually,
Shit.
even aside from just the devs, a lot of people in the Discord are pretty knowledgeable in general. So if you go into the Discord and ask almost any question almost any time of the day because of different time zones, somebody usually will provide an answer.
And kind of a shameless plug, if you go to that Discord, there's going to be tons of people who kind of have fan-made projects for this game. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm doing some pretty cool future trunk sprites. There's Bombsold with his Yamcha. All of these are unofficial, by the way, but it's just great seeing some of the stuff people do in the Discord, and so you can see some cool stuff like that.
Bomb's Yamcha gets me so hyped.
Yep. All right.
And-
So, anything else?
No,
Nope, that's about it.
Cool.
All right. So thank you so much for tuning in this first podcast. This is also my first podcast. So if I screw up, please blame that. But anyways, I just want to thank you all for listening and look forward and tune in for the next time on Hyper Dragon Ball Z Community Podcast number 2, which will be available on Twitch and YouTube.
All right.
sweet.
Yeah. Sweet.
Bye, guys.
All right.
See
bye,
you guys.
Cool.
Peace.